Man, like it's in October. Uh, you know, it's been Red October for us for Phillies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The weather's starting to get cooler.
Eagles. Come on, undefeated still.
And but feel like there's something still missing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I never really got into Halloween spirit until like I knew like what I was dressing up as, or
Right.
B, like even if I knew what it was, I still wasn't in the spirit until like I either A, went and got the costume, or B, like maybe built the costume and then tried it on, and I'd be like, oh, it's about to go down.
Oh
right?
yeah. Once you got the costume going, it was, on from there.
Yeah.
And usually, like you said, you know what your costume was prior to October. But I feel like this year I don't know what to be.
Yeah. Wait. I got an idea.
Huh?
Ooh, all right.
This is nice. Hey, Lloyd.
What's up, Harry?
Welcome to
One Set.
Dude, Halloween is literally days away.
I know, man. It's such a fun time of year. I know we talked in the fall episode about like the weather cooling down.
Yeah.
And when that episode we did like a week and a half ago when we recorded it, it was just starting to cool off, but it's actually feeling like October. Like,
yeah,
it took us to the end of the month to get there.
Yeah,
but
I feel if we would have done that episode like around this time, we'd have been doing it inside. It started getting a little more cold.
That or we'd be in like sweats, like sweatpants and a hoodie, because it absolutely. I was literally just hanging out on my deck today in sweats.
Yeah,
because I was like, yeah, this is October weather right here.
Yeah,
you're starting to see your breath in the cool air.
Very early in the morning. That's a true indication that the weather has definitely changed. And, even last year's Halloween was actually pretty warm. And that's very rare for around here that, because I remember going out for trick-or-treating when I was a kid, but it would sometimes be cold, but then your parents would want you to wear like a coat or like something over your costume. Like, what do I get this costume for if I'm going to wear something over top of it?
Right. Right.
Right. So it always sucked if it was like too cold, or you would try to think, okay, is this costume going to be too light? Then if it's like too cold, then you're gonna have to find something under the costume to wear. Like then you put the sweatshirt under the costume. Then you have them like, okay, now the thing's too bulky.
Right. I mean, you got to think that like, I had to think about like how I wanted to say this, but like back when we were kids growing up, I could say when girls dressed in girl costumes.
Yeah.
Right. Now it's whoever wants to dress in a feminine style outfit with like less clothing. They were at the disadvantage if it was much cooler out. Right.
Right. Different times.
Yeah. I think my outfits most of the time were like layers of some sort. Right.
Right.
But what were some of the costumes that like you remember? I don't think I remember like all of them, and I certainly like I can't remember what I was, because like I know I've mentioned this. I barely remember before I was 7 years old.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I couldn't tell you what I was when I was a kid. Like
no, like 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I couldn't remember either, unless my parents took pictures, or it's not like they had camera phones to really take pictures of us like we do now. But I think for the most part, I think the one that I really remember, I think we mentioned on one of the past episodes, was me being a ninja, and then I remember being a werewolf. Being Batman. I was Batman one of the years. My dad was Joker.
Very cool.
I think I showed you a picture of that before. My dad, he did the whole face paint before, and he is like
he goes all in too.
He's usually not much of a Halloween person, but I think just like a normal dad, hey, I'll do it for the kids. So it was pretty cool. I got to find that picture.
Yeah,
And
I
if
don't,
so, we're posting up right here.
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I don't remember seeing it, so I would love to see it again.
Yeah, you'll get a kick out of it.
I'll have to dig through some of my pictures so that you can throw them up in here too.
Yeah.
I know. Well, between like Batman and Robin and Joker, like with your brother and your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of cameras, just to get like slightly sidetracked, your mom probably took a ton of pictures, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have books and books and books of pictures.
Was she more of like a disposable camera kind of person, or did she have like the actual camera with like the rolls that like you could just take to get developed type thing?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. Like she had like the camera that it just popped out the little photo. We had one of those.
Oh, you mean like a Polaroid?
Yeah, like we had the Polaroids.
See, we didn't have Polaroid when I was growing up, but I think my older sisters got them like as they got older.
Right.
And like they would play with them a little bit here and there.
We had the Polaroids. Cool. We had like the little skinny camera, the little flash and everything. And those were the ones you had to go get developed.
Yeah.
And I think that was like was it maybe one of the first like digital, I guess, ones, because you had to go get them developed. So maybe it was like starting to get into like the first digital ones.
Digital cameras were like for real, like a technology like jump.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, perfect. I can see if I want to get this picture developed or if it didn't turn out, because people would just get everything developed and none of these pictures turned out. What the whoopsie?
Yeah, exactly. Because the Polaroid, you would get it, and then it's like, okay, this is what you got, and you wouldn't be able to have like an edit or anything. So it's like whatever came out of that Polaroid was pretty much what you captured in that moment,
right?
But yeah, we had like books and books of Polaroid pictures from when we were kids, and then I mean, you said you guys. Did you guys take a lot of pictures when you were kids? Or
I mean, we have like the books of all the pictures because that was like the thing.
The photo keepsake, books. And
that was like the thing that like I guess our parents' generation did, like going through 70s, 80s. I'm not sure actually when like developing pictures of the store.
I think probably that ended maybe in the late 80s, because 90s I think it probably would be the one where it started to turn. I think it was probably like a 70s 80s thing, because we were both late 80s babies, 86 and you were 87, right?
Yeah, I never even really thought to look into like when people started getting pictures like developed at the store. I'd look it up right now, but I think it's just going to take like
time.
Or I'll look it up while you're talking. Because I feel like I cut you off with the picture thing.
No. How about I'll tell you. I was mentioning to you that little guy, he's going to be Simba this year. So we took him yesterday to the Elmwood Zoo, and they had this Boo at the Zoo thing. So you go and you go to the zoo, see all the animals, and then they have like 4 or 5 or 6 different stations that you can go up to, and they do candy. Now that was the thing too, that because last year he wasn't really walking in October, so we were picking him up and taking him to each of the houses around here, where yesterday he was actually able to walk up to the people. And the first one that he went up to, I don't think he got the concept of like take a piece of candy and put it in the bucket. He was kind of like looking, and he's like,
I'm supposed to eat this
like,
right
am
now?
I eating this right now? Or I'm like, put in your bucket, bud. And he's like, okay. And then after like the second one, then he's like, oh, okay, now I got it. Here, take it, put it in there. Yeah. Let's go. And then he starts like taking it out. He's like, all right, can I get this now? Like, but it was a long day. And then he starts passing out around like 4 or 5 o'clock. And we're like, no, because if you pass out now, you're gonna be up at like 4:30 in the morning. So we just gave him a Kit Kat.
No, this was at the zoo, you said, right?
That moment we were back at home, but when he was doing the I guess like the trick-or-treating part of it over there, like it took him like 1 or 2 stations to kind of get used to being like,
sure,
okay, the concept of putting your candy, put it in a bag, you take 2 pieces of candy, then put it in your bag or your bucket,
Did you guys take him out trick or treating last year at all, or
We
no?
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember because like the COVID stuff like got
Yeah,
just
it was the first year that because the first year
well,
he dressed up, but he was like sleeping
he
through
was
it,
he
so
was
we
like
didn't
two
really.
months old, right?
Like 2-3 months old. Yeah,
Yeah.
he just turned 3 months
Yeah.
old. So we had put him in a costume. He was a tiger,
Right.
and we did the whole Tony the Tiger thing,
I
and
remember that.
yeah, so but he wasn't. He was sleeping through the whole thing. So he didn't really get the experience much. So last year, he dressed up as a cow because he was all about cows.
Okay. Okay.
And so then he was able to kind of do a little bit of trick or treating. We were able to bring him up to houses and everything because we at that time we felt it was a little more safe than the year before.
Sure.
So we did, we just went around our community. So it was like maybe a couple houses.
Right. Well,
So
and you guys just like carried him then, right? Like he wasn't full blown like
it,
walking around at that
if
time, right?
he may have been just starting to walk, so we couldn't really go that far.
Right.
So maybe
Right.
a couple feet, and then he'd be like, "All right, pick me up."
So when you take him out, assuming you're taking him out,
Yeah.
for Halloween, are you going to stay in your neighborhood again and do?
Well, probably yeah. I think for the first, next like year or two, we'll probably stick around here, and maybe next year we'll see. We'll go over to the other little complex over there,
Sure.
the Cambridge.
Yeah.
We'll go to a couple houses over there because we get home at like 5:30, and by that time it's going to start getting dark at like 5. So
Yeah.
he's already going to be in the dark, and the first year we were in this house, we got a lot of people, and then it started kind of trickling down a little bit, and we haven't had like a decent, and then COVID with everything, so it
Sure.
kind of really snowballed that out of here. But last year wasn't too bad. We had my parents and Jen's mom staying back at the house to do the whole
Giving out
candy
Sure.
while we were going out, and I think my dad stayed back because I remember my mom and Jen's mom coming with us. But we took him out early, so then we can just go back and just kind of chill. Just so we took him out in the light, so he would be, and it was on the weekend, I think.
Nice.
So we were able to kind of go early, where it's on a Monday this year. So we're gonna have to wait till we get home from work. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think he's really excited to be Simba because now like he wants to put on the costume and then he'll just be like roar. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Lion King in the last like 2 months.
Oh man, I bet.
What's more Halloween? What you're not much of a candy person, are you? Or
no, not really. I mean, I think like when I was younger, obviously, like yeah, but not like insanely over the top. I think I like had a pretty decent understanding of like okay, and we used to do like the pillowcases because like you could fill them up more than like the little.
I was just gonna ask you, like, so you did the pillowcases, and you would go there, fill that up, go back home, get another pillowcase, and like, how late would you stay out?
Okay,
on like when you were a kid, obviously. I mean, at like your youngest, or like when you were able to kind of start going without your parents, how long would you stay out? Because I know like now it's kind of frowned upon to really stay out too late. Where we were kids, like you would sometimes be out like almost to the late night.
Yeah, I think, God, it's so crazy to think. I'll preface this with when we were seniors in high school, like my family moved, and where we moved to, it's like a cul-de-sac, and that's it.
Right.
So there's no trick or treating to be done there.
So you kind of had to, maneuver out of that area in order to kind of, do more trick or treating.
I think, well, I was like, when I was a senior, what did I do? Actually, I think my senior year in high school, I was at the development, like right behind you. I went through, there, my girlfriend in high school at the time had lived over there.
Right.
And she was so upset because I took forever getting my costume done and I was late again.
You were late because of your costume.
Yeah, I was like a victim of like a drunken car crash.
Mhm.
So I had taken like plastic and cut it up and taken red duct tape and like taped it all over me, and it looked like the windshield
Right.
was all over me, and then I put like blood all over my shirt and
Mhm.
stuff. But that it wasn't even, it was kind of like a clever costume because I wasn't just like being something like super standard. I like actually like thought about it and tried to
Right.
make it different. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd say before that, when I lived in my old neighborhood, when I went trick or treating, I think I went. I I was staying at home to help. Like I did the whole stuff to myself to play like I was like a decoration and then
Mhm.
scare the kids as they came up.
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
the classic one.
yeah, classic. And then I did that until, I did that until like 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
I think I was 16 years old, and my mom was like, "You should go out. Like you are getting older, but you can still get away." Like I felt like I was too old to be doing it at that
Mhm.
age.
You can move away from the nest now, like
Well, and I think at the same time, my mom wanted me to be able to hold on to that part of childhood
Yeah.
before I got older and wasn't doing it anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so I want to say at that point I ran out at 8, and like I just threw something together real fast, and like we had masks and all sorts of stuff because I had two older sisters that had already done trick or treating for years before that.
Yeah.
Um, and like my mom and dad would get like scary mask type things, so we had like huge bins of just like
Mhm.
leftover old costumes type thing.
Right, right. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think once I decided, all right, I think I should go and maybe this be my last one. I like just randomly slapped something together, but then I made it my mission to like run
Mm.
from house to house and like say, how quickly can I like accumulate as much
As much
candy as I
candy.
can?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was going. I think I might have went alone. I don't.
Hmm.
So I can't remember. It was literally 19 years ago, right?
Yeah, I don't remember when my parents starting like allowing me to go out by myself either with another group or just
Right.
like with me and my brother and maybe one other person. I guess maybe like after like we were 10 or something, 10, 12. Like you start getting like, okay, maybe like, go around the corner and do like a little thing. And then next year let them do a little bit more. But yeah, I would like to think I would try to remember the last time I went trick or treating as like a kid and be like, okay, I think, and then realizing I think I'm getting too old to go trick or treating, but I still like doing it. But then, like, you get when you see the kids that come up to your house, you're like, you're definitely too old, and you're getting one piece of candy.
Definitely graduated high school five
5
years ago.
Like,
It's like, all right, and when you're in your 20s, I don't think so. You should be
yeah,
you should be
Halloween
just
parties
doing
and
Halloween
stuff.
parties with your friends and stuff, which
Yeah.
I've done that. I remember going to this one. I want to say it was my junior year of high school that I went to one, but I think Halloween fell on like a Thursday.
Hmm.
So I went to like a friend's house who was doing a Halloween party on November 1st, and it was a Friday, and I was like,
Hmm.
this just doesn't feel right, like at
Yeah.
all.
Right.
Like I understood. I was like, all right, it's still fun and stuff, but like once you do Halloween,
Hmm.
once you do the trick or treating, you're just so used to like November 1st. Okay, Thanksgiving
It's
time.
like trying to have a Christmas party after Christmas.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
it's like you already got the presents. We already did the
Yeah,
whole thing.
yeah. I mean, and I can speak to that because like with COVID crushing my family for Christmas last year,
Hmm.
we didn't even have like our family Christmas gathering until January 16th or something like that.
I remember you saying it was almost like a month later. Yeah.
Yeah. I think once we shot episode 2,
Right.
second
Yeah.
week of January, I was able to say we're finally doing Christmas this weekend.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was just so weird, man. Like you're in the middle of January and doing Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Like the spark's not there. Like you know the meaning, but because you missed it, but like it's like the whole spark of the whole meme is like not fully like Christmas. You know, it's not Christmas, but you're trying to make it as Christmassy as you can.
Right.
So yeah,
Well, you know,
understandable.
you can drag Christmas like up until like the New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think us being off from school helped with that
Right.
because it's like you get to do Christmas and it's like, yeah, we're off for a week. And it's like,
and you get to play with all your toys. You get to, show your friends that you can actually,
you get to hang out with all your friends and show
Mhm.
them all the fancy new clothes and shoes you did or didn't get. You're like,
Yeah.
this is what I asked Santa and my parents, and I didn't get it because the world hates me.
I asked for a PlayStation. I got socks. Like,
That's great.
yeah.
Shoot.
But there was something else other than candy. I think we got into it. Was saying like trick or treating that.
I mean, I'll definitely say real quick, I am more of a chocolate fan than like a sweet candy fan.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So like I think
so like and don't want to cut you off. So what candies don't you like? Because I can give you some that I don't like. Because I have a longer list that I do like, probably more than I don't like. So
yeah, I mean,
maybe not certain brands, but like specific types of candy that you don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could easily rattle off like what I do. I will say this: I didn't like almond joys as a kid because I just felt like nuts in my.
You went there.
Chocolate. Oh, bye. Okay.
Let it be known, Jim doesn't like nuts in his chocolate.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't care for them when I was younger. But like they grew on me as I got older.
Mm-hmm. I liked them because not for the nut, but because of the coconut.
Yeah, and I think that's why I grew into liking it. And I was like, all right, I can tolerate a couple almonds in this because the coconut's actually like really good.
Yeah, because it almost like offsets it in a way. Like you're not getting too much of like the almond flavor, but then once you notice you're getting like the coconut flavor, you're like, okay, right. It's a good combination.
Yeah, and I think it would be like one of the last things. What I was saying earlier was I got good with understanding like, okay, if I just rush through all of my candy, it's gone. So I got good at like really preserving it over time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was never like my parents had to hide my bag because I ate too much too fast. Mm-hmm. Like, I think they might have done that when I was like younger because they were afraid that I would do that. But I think as I got older and they'd see that I was still digging into my pillowcase at the end of November, they're like, okay, your candy lasted like a whole month. I'm like, well, yeah, I know once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah,
like,
I still do that. I still preserve it. I try to span it out as much. Like I won't eat a whole bunch, but I'll try to, have a little bits here and there so that it kind of, go. But I'm trying not to be like that this year. I'm trying not to, after Halloween, still having candy all the way through Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything. Yeah. So like almond joys I liked. I was never a licorice person.
Okay, yeah, see, now you're talking.
Never got into licorice. I'm probably gonna get beat down for it too, but I've never been a licorice person.
No, and you're talking like black licorice, right?
Black, red, anything.
Okay. So
don't like them.
The black licorice, I think it was supposed to be like a peppermint like flavor or something.
Cool. I didn't like it.
Yeah, that's great.
Great.
Miss me.
Yeah, miss me with that. Peppermint, no.
Yeah, I think really, God, licorice I haven't had in forever. Like, of any flavor.
And anytime I like how you said that you acquired a taste for the almond joys, I've tried licorice at different times of my life since then. I still never acquired a taste like, nope, this sucks.
Yeah. I think once I tried to eat like a piece of black licorice and I was like trying my damnedest to tolerate it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm not like gagging, throwing up here, but I'm like, why would I go out of my way for this?
It's
like,
not doing anything.
It's not doing
like,
it.
Yeah. I've never been like a chewy person. Like, there's something
about
what
Mary?
Is it something about Mary. Mary. Mary Swanson. Yeah. uh, Swedish fish.
Okay.
Too chewy for me.
See, I actually like Swedish fish.
Deal with them better than licorice.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have to choose, if there's Swedish fish and something else on the line, I'll pick the other thing before Swedish fish.
Okay. What about I have to look this up because I can't remember exactly what it is, but it was like those tubes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. This is how long
look it up.
I haven't had candy for.
Look it up
it's a Halloween thing.
But yeah, so but I'm a we talked about caramel in the other episode, but Rolos, love Rolos. I forgot either it was my mom or my mom who started giving me those, and I'm like, okay, I get down with these a lot. Like they were good, and you can finish like a whole roll of them pretty quickly, and so you're looking at you're trying to figure it out right now. So you got
right. Well, this article is the 15 most popular American candy choices, but like it's scrolling through like M&Ms.
Right.
M&Ms are great. Now, I will say, as a kid, I didn't enjoy peanut M&Ms.
I didn't either.
I'm now into them. Like
yes,
as an adult.
Yes.
I think,
but I will still go for the chocolate ones more than the peanut. But if the peanut's there, I'll be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but
I can deal with it.
What about they have the peanut butter M&Ms. Oh,
like Reese's the Reese's peanut butter M&Ms. I think that it's
is that a thing?
I think so. We'll have to look that up too. But I think I know what you're talking about, and yeah, they were good. Things like peanut butter M&Ms or Reese's had like Reese's is like peanut butter chocolate, but they almost had like their own like M&M type Reese's thing, I think.
So that's the orange bag is the peanut butter M&Ms. They're good.
Yeah, I don't have them that often. I think I've had them at least once, but they were good. But traditional M&Ms are always good. Can't go wrong with those.
Pretzel M&Ms. Oh god, they are awesome.
Have I tried those? I don't think I have.
See, the thing is like those are more of like novelty flavors, so you don't see them like you see regular M&Ms and peanut M&Ms. The other fancy ones,
because the two staples, they're going to be more up. But like you have to, either go online or shop for a specific store that has a bunch of varieties of those.
Yeah, I think if you order them online, because obviously there's like they have like the M&M factory or whatever in New York City,
right? Yeah,
which is like every kind of M&M.
Yeah, you can get anything. Yeah.
God, I miss New York City, man. Me too. I haven't been. I want to say it's been. Oh come on! It can't, because I remember taking my mom. to see. Like the Rockettes and stuff.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me too since I've been up in New York with Jen. It's been a minute.
That was 2015. That was 7 years ago. I'm like,
makes about sense. Yeah, it's probably been about the same or a little bit longer because we used to go every December for like when we were in college because they had like a little New York trip that we would go to and we go there for the day.
Oh, nice.
But I think after college, I don't think we went it. So it could have been maybe since 2009, 2010 ish that I haven't been in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild that there's that many different flavors of M&Ms. But I mean, I gotta say, Reese's peanut butter cups are probably my absolute number one favorite.
I tear them up.
It's peanut butter and chocolate. Like
that's what I look for. At first, I'll look for those little square, like the Reese's cups. Give them to me. And I
think I like Snickers the best next because the Snickers ice cream bars. Now
I think I may have had them before.
You don't get that like for Halloween because it's frozen, right?
Yeah.
But you can get it like at a store and like I used to get them at Wawa all the time. When I would get it because I'd be like I can eat one of these and feel like satisfied, like that's a solid treat right there.
Now, I would have an Almond Joy before I have Snickers.
Okay.
So that
because coconut flavor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, Snickers are okay, but I guess it's just the because it's chocolate, caramel, and
I think it has some nuts in
it
it.
has either almond or something in it. But I think the almond joy takes the winner for me for that one.
Gotcha.
Three Musketeers,
Yes,
they're good.
but I will say I'd probably go with a Milky Way before Three Musketeers.
I never got into Milky Way,
Right.
and I think like I said, I like caramel, but I think
Oh, I
when
just thought of
it's
something
on
else.
top of it and you hit the caramel 1st,
Mhm.
too chewy.
Got you.
That just lights a thing. This is too chewy. I don't like having to work for it.
What do you think?
I'm lazy.
Right. Same.
Same.
What do you think about Butterfingers?
Good.
Okay. I don't love them. There's something.
Butterfingers and Reese's are my top two.
Okay. Wow.
If I don't see Reese's, I'm looking for Butterfinger.
Okay. Nice. I don't love them. That like obviously enjoyed them, but I didn't go out of my
Right.
way for them. They were like one of the last things in
Mhm.
the bag.
Right.
Now I'm going through like all the chocolate stuff first because that's like my
Yeah.
That's I prefer it over the other stuff.
Absolutely.
Dude. Okay. Cookies and cream Hershey bars.
Phew. The little like square ones you're talking about?
The little rectangular ones that you can just like snap.
Yeah.
Not Kit Kats, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
Kit Kats,
But like the Hershey bars, but they're cookies and cream. I don't think I've tried them. I know that they exist, but I don't think I've always went with just pure milk chocolate or the dark chocolate.
And they also have
For
the Hershey bars with like the almonds in them, which I never really cared for those, again, for the same reason.
So, speaking of that, I'm probably going to mess this up, and I'll have to get confirmation I'll write it in the edits, but Jen is related to the person who has the original recipe for Hershey's chocolate ice cream.
Wow.
Like she's and again, I'll have to let's call her up. No, she's sleeping.
Almost 12:30 a.m.
She is related. It's like a great grandfather, I think, in that type of line, that he and his partner were like the first had the first recipe for Hershey's ice cream.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So we'll have to get her on and talk about it one time.
Yeah,
sure. But yeah, but Hershey's has always been good.
I mean, they have an amusement park in Hershey, PA.
Yeah, I mean, you've been there, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's been a long time since I've been there, but
same. Yeah,
I think. Did we go for like a class trip?
Did we?
I think we did. I want to say that was the 10th grade class trip.
Maybe
freshman year, we went to Six Flags.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then sophomore year was Hershey Park, and then I didn't do junior year or senior year. I think junior year the trip was Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
Either that or they might have done Knoebels, because I feel like they interchanged those in and out.
Yeah. I probably only went to one of them because I don't really remember going to many of those.
Yeah.
But even like the senior class trip to like Florida and stuff, I didn't go to that.
Yeah, we both didn't do that.
Right.
I remember that.
I just thought it was, just. Yeah, and I think we talked about it on the pod.
We absolutely have, because I said I've talked about how I got to go to Disney,
right?
The studio that I grew up at. Like,
and we just knew it was like so many rules. I mean, you had to have rules, but it was like you had to be in by a certain time. You had to go to this park at this time, this park at that time. Like, if you want to go to Disney, you go on your own time. You can do whatever you want instead of having to be like around a bunch of chaperones with parents that are not even your parents.
I was so turned off about the idea of feeling like I was like restricted, not because I wanted to go out and do like
right, but
things
like
that I shouldn't be doing.
Your seniors should be able to have a little bit of responsibility to be like, okay, this is my senior class trip. We should be able to kind of just be trusted to be like, okay, just as long as we know you're in one of these parks and you check in at least somewhat during the day, then you're fine.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, and I, you you and Jen went to Disney together, right?
Yeah,
I was
we
gonna say.
we went when our niece was born,
Okay.
so that was the first time we went together,
Okay.
and we've been there once or twice since. I mean, we've been to Florida multiple since then, since our niece started getting older. Then they started coming up here a little bit more.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, and I went to Disney when I was younger too. And we can probably do our like because you went to Disney but I went in middle school. I think it was like sixth or seventh grade.
I went 8th, 10th, and 12th.
Okay,
8th
so,
grade was my first time ever in Disney World.
okay. Maybe I know it was maybe seventh or eighth grade. I'll probably think seventh.
It was pretty cool because like it. I think it was like the first and last time that all four of us, like me and my three sisters, danced in a routine together.
Mm-hmm.
Because my oldest sister was like, let's see, if I was in 8th grade, I would have been 14. She was 21.
Mm-hmm.
But the studio was doing like their first Disney trip ever.
Yeah.
Like taking the dancers to perform
right
in Magic Kingdom. So my oldest sister was 21 and she was like allowed to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So my youngest sister was, let's see, I was 14, but it was in June and her birthday is in July. She's 8 years younger than me. So she was 5, almost 6. So she was 5.
Right.
And then my oldest sister was 21. And then my other older sister is, she's 3 years younger than my oldest and 4 years older. So that would have made her 18. So she would have just graduated high school.
Right.
Because that trip happened in like the weekend after schools let out in June.
Right.
For us anyway. Okay. So we got that Disney little sidetrack in there.
I was going to say maybe another episode we can talk about our first like Disney experiences because I got a couple, cool things and funny, experiences from just being in Disney. So we'll do that.
I've got a couple of fun ones. Like, I mean, I don't remember that first trip too much. I think I was just so like absorbing everything that I was like,
because you had
oh my god,
when we were there we had like the OG Universal Studios and everything, like the Nickelodeon studios and everything that's no longer there anymore.
Right.
So yeah, I got some fun things that we can talk about.
Sweet. I'm happy that I didn't go when I was like younger.
Yeah.
Because holy smokes, with how much walking that you have to do, like forget about it.
Right. Well, we're actually taking little guy to Disney in a couple weeks because I'm going on a conference in Florida, and the conference is at the Orlando Convention Center.
Okay.
And Disney is literally like 20 minutes from there.
Yeah.
So Jen and the baby are coming down with me, and she's going to take him to Disney while I'm working, and I'm going to try to see if I can catch up with them. Spoiler. But then, so yeah, I mean, when you were talking, I wish that I'm glad I can go when I was younger. Where for him, he's such a big Mickey fan, so we're trying to see if we can just get him to meet Mickey. If we can just do that, it'll be an accomplished trip for him.
Sure, and you're already there for work.
Yeah. So it's once in a lifetime, and the fact that he's 2, he gets in there for free.
Right.
So don't have to pay for him. We would only have to pay tickets for, Jen. And if I go, me, we're going to meet up with her brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our niece is going to try to go down too.
Cool.
So, she'll at least know while I'm working, she'll be taken care of. And so that she won't just be sitting in a hotel,
right. So now, how close to Orlando does her brother live?
He lives actually 2 hours away from Orlando.
Okay.
In Newberry.
Okay.
So
I don't know where Newberry is, if it's north or...
It's more north.
Okay.
Yeah. So thankfully with the hurricane and everything, they were fine. Like they just got like the residual
Okay.
effects from it. They didn't really get like a direct hit or anything.
Are they? Is Newberry like central, or is it more?
I think more in the central end. Yeah,
I could look it up, but again, just taking up time.
I mean, yeah, I think it's more in the central end of Florida. Yeah, because they used to live in Gainesville, then they moved to Newberry.
Gainesville,
and then but yeah, getting back on track with excuse me, Halloween stuff. Don't want to spoil this movie, but I know I talked to you about. I just recently watched Halloween Ends, and I'm a big Halloween fan. I've always been since I was kind of little. I remember watching the first original Halloween movie, and not real like you watch movies and you never really see a whole movie, but you remember scenes from it.
Right.
I remember seeing Michael Myers for like the first time. I'm like, what the whoopsie is this dude? Like,
right.
And it was just like the shadow look on him, and like the no expression face. And I always used to see the same scene all the time when he's, chasing Laurie in the house. Like that very last scene when he's like, just walking down the stairs and she's coming into the hallway and he like slices her arm, and you get that like yeah, I remember that scene like when I was watching as a kid, and then as I got older, then like getting into like what the movie was about and everything. And I've always loved Michael Myers. And again, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I know at this point, what is it? It's Monday. The thing came out Friday. What was our, rule for putting out any spoilers? 2 days?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
So but this is getting published like.
Yeah.
So
true.
That'll be 2 weeks by the time. I mean,
if not, we can blow this out. I was disappointed, people.
Yeah. No, I saw so many people online say it was.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I actually haven't.
I'm not going to say anything about it, but I like some things and I didn't like some things. That's probably all I'll say.
I actually haven't seen any of them.
You haven't seen any of them?
No.
Okay. So if you just want to, and I'll give you a full blip, you can watch all like 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Is H2O or 8? I think it goes 6, then I think H2O Resurrection. Then you start getting into the Rob Zombie reboots.
I heard you don't need to see those.
No. Basically, when they did this trilogy, the first movie of this trilogy goes off of after the very first movie in 1976.
Oh, okay.
So basically they're making it like, and again, the movie's been out, so whatever. They're making it as that Michael got captured that night.
Okay.
After that movie ended, they eventually found him, and he was in solitary confinement.
Okay.
And then again, if you want to watch, that's all I'll say about that. Yeah. That's all I gotta say about that.
Well, Michael Myers is like Cheyenne's favorite. She's seen every single one of them.
Yeah, it's been definitely, and I'm not much of a scary movie person.
Right.
Never been a fan of being scared. Like haunted houses, hay rides, miss me. Don't ask me, not going. Never like that.
See, it's weird for me. Like I feel like I'm like I avoided like the scary movies growing up. Mm-hmm. So I never got into them like at all.
Right.
I've seen some at this point, not a lot, obviously, but I saw Pet Sematary.
I saw the reboot.
I saw the reboot.
I don't think I've ever seen the original.
I didn't see.
If I have, it's been like bits and pieces.
Dude, it's been a few years since I saw that one, but like someone gets hit out in the road, don't they? Like just blasted.
Probably. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they get like demolished by
Mhm.
like a tractor trailer or
And you're like,
something.
"Oh my god."
Yeah. Oh,
Whoopsie. But along with Pet Cemetery, another Halloween movie, and this is another coming from my childhood, watching The Monster Squad. Because I have a thing for werewolves
hmm
and the transformation from human to werewolf. I always used to like it, but hate it. It would scare the shit out of me, but I had to keep on watching it because it was always intriguing to me. And that scene in that movie where the guy that's playing the Wolfman is in the telephone pole and he's about to change, and they show like the whole his face like cracking open and all that other stuff. They used to scare the whoopsie out of me as a kid. But I'm like, I'll be like kind of like this, but then like trying to like,
doing
okay,
this thing.
yeah, they're like, okay, then kind of like, okay, I want to see a little bit, but yeah, that movie was awesome. As a kid, I appreciated it, or as an adult, I appreciate it a lot more than what I did as a kid. Because I mean, there was certain parts where I'm like, okay, I can't watch this, way too much for me. But then now it's like, you get those like I used to be scared of this part, but I'm like, okay, that's not that bad
Yeah.
anymore. Like, but then yeah, I've always been like a fan of like werewolves.
That's like kind of your go-to for like a monster of some sort, right?
If I had, yeah, if I had to pick like my favorite like Halloween monster, I guess yeah, like werewolves is
Sure.
like something that's cool. Like I saw the Wolfman reboot. What's the guy's name? I can't. It was in 2015, 16.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The werewolf. If you type in
Not werewolves in London.
no. Wolfman. If you type in Wolfman, it was one of the more recent ones. Not. I was going to say Quentin Tarantino. That's not Quentin Tarantino. It's which one?
Wolfman's got nards.
That's from Monster Squad. That's one of the famous lines from the movie because they and that's actually that's the Monster Squad documentary, and one of our best friends, Matt Kelly, is in this documentary.
Oh, okay.
And
Gotcha.
he talks about the Monster Squad, and yeah, so they have a big old documentary. I haven't watched it yet, but I do want to watch because they talk about all the
Well, Matt has like a horror movie dedicated podcast.
Yeah.
So like he's all about all that stuff.
Horror movie nights. Maybe we can give a shout out to Matt Kelly. If you guys, we'll put a description. We'll put a little thing down here. You go check it out. If you guys are into Monster Squad, check out this documentary. Give horror movie nights a shout out. Tell them one set send you. But yeah, it was the Wolfman movie, and I forget the actor who was in there. It's gonna kill me now.
It wasn't Hugh Jackman in Van Helsing, right?
No. Do like
2010? That's right.
2015, something like that. Yeah, here you go. Bacino del Toro. Yeah, that one. So yeah, he played the Wolfman, and that was a cool version of it too, because they did like his transformation, but that transformation was like more CGI.
Got it.
So they didn't have like with the American Werewolf in London, where they had Rick Rubin, who was very famous for doing a lot of the werewolf transformations, and like they had like the legit like
Wait,
animatronic.
Like the producer Rick Rubin
Is his name? I might be whoopsie. His name Rick Rubin. Again, maybe look that up. But he was the special effects person for doing the
Rick Rubin?
I think so.
Yeah, he's worked with like Jay-Z and like
no, then yeah, it's the wrong guy. Rick. I am horrible with my history. Do like Rick Wolfman.
Wolfman, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll come up. Nada.
That's a strikeout.
Strike bomb.
Bomb. Yeah.
But no, he was one of the guys that, like, you know, they did like the actual, like, you know, animatronics to like transform the people into the werewolf. Of like, you know, they saw like the skulls popping out and the whole, you know, hands turning into claw, like getting the claws and everything. Like that transformation scared the out of me the first time too. But like, again, now it's like I can see it. I'm like, okay, now I can appreciate it and be like, okay, this is cool. Yeah, so Wolfman.
I think like Dracula and vampires.
You were a big Van Helsing. Like, you were big in the Van Helsing, I remember.
So I was like pretty stoked about the movie. Like I thought it was pretty cool. I think at the like age that we were though.
Yeah.
Just real quick. I think we were in like 8th or 9th grade or something.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, because I remember you being really big, deep into Van Helsing.
Well, I mean, I wasn't like, I didn't know. I only saw it once, but after I saw it, I was like, oh, sweet. Now I want to go get the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
whoopsie.
He just passed away.
So I didn't know he was in that movie.
Yeah, it says he was Dr. Henry Jekyll.
Jackal.
Yeah.
It's a jackal.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Robbie Coltrane.
Yes.
AKA most famously known as Hagrid in the Harry Potter series.
Right. Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, Count Dracula. So Hugh Jackman turns into like the werewolf to face off with Dracula at the end. But I went and got the video game. Not bought it, but I went and rented it, and I beat it in one sitting. Like I just played it literally until like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Not like went and saw the movie, went and got the video game like right next to each other. It was like the next day. But I got it probably. I probably started playing around 6 p.m. and then I played for almost 10 hours, and I just crushed through the whole game. I was like, well, that was fun.
That was when you can actually, like, you know, like I said, like when you can rent and then like play it for a couple hours, have the time to play it for a couple hours. Now it's like you can't even sit down for 2 minutes and be like, okay, what else do I got to do with my day?
Yeah, seriously. And video games are just on a whole other level of complexities anymore. It's like to like actually beat them takes days and weeks to like actually, like the ones that have like the elevated like campaign modes and all of like the online. Dude, I fell out of video games. I think like 10 years ago was when I like stopped playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think after Guitar Hero, I just kind of like leveled out of that.
Yeah, I
remember you used to try to get me into playing Halo, but I just totally sucked. I couldn't get the joysticks down. Like when Xbox and everything, I was totally fine with PlayStation with just like the arrows and everything and the buttons.
Yeah.
When the joystick started coming out, I just couldn't get the dexterity to be like, okay, left and right, and then going back. I couldn't get the motions down.
Right. And I wonder if that's because you're actually like ambidextrous.
Maybe.
Because like for me being right-handed, I'd be like, okay, this hand is dominating over here, and then this left hand only has to do like that left thumb only has to move that joystick. The PlayStation controllers too had the what were they, like the, I guess the analog like toggle joysticks, but they were like right next to each other. The Xbox remotes were like
a little bit further
asymmetric. The left one was elevated up high, and then the right one was like lower.
And I think that's probably what threw me off. Because then when I would think I'd be moving left, I'd be moving right. I'd be going back. I'd be going forward. So
I did like how the Xbox controllers had like the back trigger buttons, like right under like your index finger was resting on them, and then you just had to apply pressure to the PlayStation controllers. You had to actually like get up to, what was it, R1, R2, L1, L2,
like right on the top area.
God, I haven't played. I haven't played video games in forever. My goodness.
I know people that still do, and I'm like, I can't even fathom it. I think we still have like the Wii. Me and Jen bought a Wii back then, and we played it for a good bit. But then now it's like I don't even have time to throw that thing together.
Right.
And that's like the simplest like games, but they were fun. Like we had like the Wii Tennis, Wii Sports, and everything.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, I liked Nintendo's approach on it because like PlayStation and Microsoft or Xbox, they were all about like the enhanced graphics. Nintendo was like, we want to keep this like fun and a little bit more animated. So like it didn't look as like aesthetically like outstanding, but it was revolutionary in itself because you were using the remote sensor with the sensor bar. So like they were the first one to do that. And then Xbox was like, oh yeah, well watch this. And then they came out with like the Kinect, the Xbox Kinect, which is like it could detect like your whole body basically. The thing with the Wii remote is that like it would only detect like arm movements.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. We were one of the households where somebody threw a Wii remote into the TV. That was pretty cool.
I think we almost did that before too, and you totally just like let it fly. You're like,
yeah.
Uh-oh. Like,
shout out to my brother-in-law, by the way. One of them. I won't say which one it is, but yeah, Wii bowling was like a big thing in the house, especially with my older sister's boyfriends. They would always like and this was, I want to say that was before my oldest sister was married. So
yeah.
Any rate, I back on track here. I think they used to swing the bowling.
Yeah.
Or swing the bowling. Okay. Swing the Wii remote towards the TV to throw the bowl, and it was just like gone.
Yeah, and if you didn't have like the little
the
arm strap
around the wrist,
then, it was definitely going through something.
Dang, we got off of Halloween and got oh, okay, right. Van Helsing, video game,
right?
Video game talk, right? Yeah, I think I was really into the like the RPG, like the role play games, like Final Fantasy. So I think after, because like when I started Wawa and I worked third shift, that was like 2010. I would get off of work at like 7 or 8 o'clock, and then I go home and I try to play.
Right.
And then it will be like noon, and then I gotta get up to go teach at like 3:30. So then I was just like, I don't have time to play games for like hours on end. It's just not a thing.
Yeah.
So especially role play games are very involved. I was like, I got Final Fantasy 13, and the graphics, which are superb, like so cool.
Oh yeah.
And the way that they like they did this whole paradigm shift thing. I don't even remember how, like I said, that's 12 years ago, but like the configuration of the game itself, I was like, this is really advanced. And like, I'm sure now it's like wild. All these games.
Yeah,
with, like,
I can imagine.
Like GTA with like the world maps. I think one of the Spider-Man games has like a world map that you can like go all over the place. I'm like,
yeah,
how involved are game creators that they go so into it like that?
I like say, I mean, from the last time I did a lot of like in-depth gaming, I mean, to what it's probably is now, it's probably just like light years past.
Yeah,
what we were used to.
Right.
Because like even the graphics from like NBA 2K and everything has just been like, it's almost like you're watching a real game.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They had like the video of Jordan taking his shot in the Cleveland Cavaliers game, and then they had the 2K version, and they were showing like how similar.
It was almost like identical.
Almost identical.
That's
you could.
wild.
I was like, Jesus God, these video games are getting like, spot on.
Yeah. Not like those WWF games from the early 2000s
where their faces were squares.
Yeah.
And we thought that was the whoopsie. These things are great. How much better can it get?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. 20 years later.
All right. Halloween. Yeah, I mean, I like, other than I definitely need to watch like a lot of the classic ones, but I will say I love like the Michael Myers theme music
Hmm.
is like so epic.
Iconic.
It's
Iconic.
absolutely.
And that's why I'm glad with like the trilogy they went back to a lot of the original stuff, and I think the new mask that they have is spot on too, because I hate how they, even the Halloween 2 mask was really good, but when it got into like 4 and everything, and I mean, it's not much of a spoiler for you, but like you'll see like how the masks like change throughout the movies.
Mhm.
But like again, like I looked up a lot of this stuff and like through YouTube documentaries and stuff, like supposedly after the first one or after the second, they, because obviously the original mask was just a William Shakespeare mask, and just they put white spray paint, took off the eyebrows, and that's what was the original one, and they just spray painted the hair.
Mm.
And I think they couldn't get another mask like that for the second one, so they had something recreated for it.
Okay.
And then
Cool.
I think for the fourth, and they just started,
Evolving.
just evolving it and everything. But I think obviously the best one is the original. I
Right.
mean, because they just were trying to think of something that had like a no emotion. They went into a Halloween store and just tried to like look for a mask that just had like no emotion,
Just
nothing,
blank.
just blank. And and somebody looked at this William Shakespeare mask, and they just said, okay, this might work. And the guy just started taking off the uh excess hair, spray painted it white, uh you know colored the hair a little bit, and it just was the iconic mask that just became to be on the movie. And Nick Castle, who plays the original Michael Myers, or what they called was the Shape, he was trying to ask John Carpenter. He's like, so basically, what's my motive? And he's like, just walk. That's all you got to do. Like, you don't say anything, just walk from there and walk to there. So, and he was the best walker of iconic walkers.
Yeah. No lines to remember, like,
No
at all.
lines, just walk. And I think that's what just makes it like crazier, though, because he's human, but he's not human. And when you think you've gotten away from him, he's like right around the corner from you. So I think that's just what made him, so iconic, that, I just was always a fan of the Michael Myers movies. And I mean, I was just so disappointed with how, the movie was, and I won't get into more of it. I just was disappointed. I wanted more out of it.
Right.
For a iconic, legendary, movie like that, I wanted it to be more of an epic ending.
Right. Well, they can, in theory, go back in time and have like insert stories of him doing other sidetrack things, but
Yeah.
I mean, I can't ask what I wanted to ask because it's certainly a spoiler, so I won't say it. I'll ask when we get off the air,
Right.
if you remember to remind me. Yeah, I saw Texas Chainsaw, which was like the spin-off of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. Those were good too. I've seen the original.
It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then I saw a lot of like the reboots and the, like I said, the spinoffs and everything. So I mean, they were good. I like watching the Texas Main Shaw. God, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Main Shaw, y'all.
Main Shaw. What else? Freddy Krueger. I haven't watched all of them. That's one I haven't watched all. But like, the Freddy vs. Jason movie, that was awesome.
I heard that was good.
That's a good one. I like it. I mean, it's corny for being, that type of movie, but for those two guys being face to face with each other, it's a cool movie. But it's definitely like one of those cheesier fight movies, but it's cool.
Yeah, but some horror movies are allowed to have that cheesy aspect to it, and it can still get away with it.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. It's still a great movie, but it's definitely like, a lot of people will say like, I mean, it's good, but it's definitely got that like cheesy, laughter, but it's like, kind of hard laughs that like okay, it's funny, but it's like, okay, I mean, it's like stupid funny. But But yeah, I thought I always like watching that movie if it's on. And again, going into Michael Myers, like I always tell myself that Halloween is not official until I've seen one of the Halloween movies, and I have to watch Halloween on Halloween.
Nice.
So I always try to, even if I see, like, I try to see all of it, but if I try to see a little bit of Halloween on Halloween, that is perfect for me because they always usually like AMC will have like the whole marathon of a lot of them. And I usually try to catch as much as I can.
So, given that Halloween's on a Monday and you're scheduled to work and then you come home, is it like a at night after Jen and Lil Tone go to bed kind of thing?
Yeah, I'll probably like check and see because usually I'll be like, okay, I'll check like the TV and like, hey, when does Halloween come on? What will I probably be doing? And if I know I'm probably gonna be busy, are they going to repeat it that night? And maybe I'll just catch it later that night because I know sometimes I'll probably catch because they'll do like Halloween 1, Halloween 2, then Halloween 4 because sometimes they'll do Season of the Witch, which is 3. I never really watched it, but usually a lot of people are saying it's not the best one because they decided to stray off from Michael Myers in that one to see if they can make Halloween like something that's not just Michael Myers, just be like a Halloween dedicated type of series. But nobody liked it, so they went back to Michael Myers in 4. That's why you kind of get like the return of Michael Myers for Halloween 4.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I think I've promoted Michael Myers a lot in this. So.
Where's my royalty?
Where's my whoopsies?
I have seen not the original It, but I saw the remake.
I've seen the original, and I've seen both of the remakes. And yeah, they're pretty scary for me. Yeah, but they're good. And I remember I didn't want to see it in theaters because I knew I was going to be scared. But I remember being on Twitter and somebody was when Periscope was actually around. I'm not sure if you remember the app Periscope. Somebody was live streaming it from the theater, and they had it on Twitter. So I'm like, okay, let me just watch this live stream because I mean, at least I'm not in front of like a big TV. So like if there's something that's like pop, it's not gonna really be too much of a thrill.
You could just take your phone and be like,
just yeah, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good, and I liked the second movie, and like I liked how they broke it up into 2 movies instead of it trying to be like how it was like very long. I liked how they did 2 chapters, and I think that was good.
Yeah, I haven't seen It Chapter 2, but my one sister who saw it like raves about it.
I think I like 1 better than 2, but they were both good in their aspects. But I think I like 1 better than 2.
Right. Yeah, we actually my one older sister and we did like an It themed like production number piece at our studio that it did fairly well. It
did good.
Yeah, that. No, a lot of the music that we picked was from like the soundtrack, and like a lot of the music that we chose, we were like, "Oh, this is so eerie and creepy and cool." And the issue was that it was hard to time it. Like you know how you count by 4s when you're playing and stuff, or when you're just listening,
right?
You couldn't count it. I mean, we go by 8s, but like it was almost like we taught the kids the choreography, and we were like, just try to keep time with each other,
right?
and try to match each other's energy. It was a real challenge, but they were excited to do it, like the kids. So I mean, we had probably close to 30 kids in that piece, and we had we didn't have like a lead male to play Pennywise, but I think yeah, we didn't have a graduating senior the year we did it, but we had 3 that were supposed to graduate the next year, so like each of those 3 got like leads in certain routines and stuff. So the lead that played Pennywise, she did a fantastic job. We had a little boy that was Georgie, so that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think outside of Pennywise and Jason, haven't seen any of the Friday the 13th movies. I
Yeah, I
I
mean,
watched the Saw movies, which I'm pretty
Saw
sure.
movies were cool.
Yeah, they're not as much scary movies as they are like thriller movies because the
Yeah.
people are like fighting for their lives so that they don't die,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was one of those like it's so beyond gory
Hmm.
that it's almost like fascinating to think
Hmm.
how they did all of the traps and
Right.
all of the games for them
And
to
like you said,
get
you
out.
kind of had to watch the movie, and then at the end, there's always like a twist
Yeah.
at the very end.
The end of that first movie was wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not even worried about a spoiler alert because the original Saw movie came out how many years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one guy that was laying there dead on the floor winds up being like the mastermind behind
Right.
everything, right?
Yeah.
It was just wild stuff.
Hmm. Yeah,
Crazy.
I don't think I got into Saw until maybe a couple movies into it, and then I had to watch them to kind of get caught up and everything. But when I like realized within that first ending, I was like, wow. Yeah, like
The second one was pretty good too. I like
mhm.
I don't super remember most of them honestly because it's been
Right. I remember bits.
I think I watched Saw like the original Saw I watched at home,
Hmm.
but then I think I went and watched the sequel in the theater, and I think that was my first. Let me get through this real quick. Okay, I'm not going. I think it was one of my first scary movies that I saw in theater that I was like, all right, I'll give it a try, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think when I first saw in the movies, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like,
you were second guessing your
no,
life
like,
choices.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, did I really pay for this? And I'm not trying to act like a
Whoopsie.
in this movie theater, but I think I worked out pretty well. I don't think I screamed too loud, but
um,
there's another. I mean,
I saw The Strangers I saw that
dude,
in the theater. That was
I think I saw that in the theaters too.
that was a scary.
That first couple minutes of that, and then I mean the ending.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting to, the ending, and especially like the outcome actually happens like in the morning when it's daylight out.
Yeah,
I was like, that is just such a like a weird thing to think about because all of these scary movies happen like
at night.
like the most of the events occur when it's dark,
Mm-hmm.
and for the way that ended, and that was based on like true events.
I think
sure.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing about like houses that are out in the middle of nowhere and way far from other people. Like I get the privacy, but like you're gonna have a private death real fast.
Right, a private death. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I would say outside of the scary movies, not the movie Scary Movie, because that's a whole other conversation.
That's more.
We're not even gonna go in there.
That's more comedy.
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
mean,
but they were funny.
Yeah,
but
they were
that's
great.
not more scary.
Yeah,
but
no.
I mean, hey, we got to give a little shout out to Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean, I know
it's not all scary, but you know, it's one of the more hit.
It's thriller,
scarier
right?
thriller type things, and I think this last season, which really topped everything off. I think it's definitely one of the best seasons they've had in a while.
I thought the second season was better, and then I know we've talked about this. I'm not sure if we talked about it on here or not. I think that we did.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were like, dude, you got to watch season 4. And I'm like, yeah, but season 5's not coming out for 2 years. And I know I need to go back and watch seasons 1 through 3, watch 4 before 5 comes through.
Right. Well, even then, I mean, they gave, and I think we were talking about this before we started that, about, you know, certain, you know, movies or, you know, series giving you a good preview of previous seasons
Yeah.
to get you caught up, so you don't necessarily have to
Backtrack.
watch a whole nother season. I felt they did good with, because I hadn't seen the season before for in a while, because and I'm like, I remember bits, but I don't remember the whole concept. And Stranger Things does a good job, I feel, with getting you caught up to speed before you get into the season, to be like, okay, this is what happened in the last season, and it's nothing too long, maybe like a 2-minute preview to kind of just get you backed up.
Yeah,
And I'm like, all right, I'm good. I remember mostly everything.
Yeah, and there's probably because I did it with Ozark for season 4. I was like, I'm not going back and watching seasons 1 through 3. Cheyenne hadn't seen it at all, and so I think she was watching it like on her own time when I was like either teaching or when like she was away with her mom for a week, and she like just binged all of season 3. So all I did was go on YouTube and find like they do the whole watch this before you watch season, like the season or the series finale season of X show.
Yeah.
I did that, I think, before I went and saw Doctor Strange 2 in the movies.
Yeah.
There were like YouTube pages that were like everything you need to know before you go see this movie, and it like definitely got you tuned in. So
that's what I did before Infinity War. I did like a whole YouTube video of like everything to catch you up to Infinity War, with all of the other, from Iron Man to all these others. It breaks you down every little thing, and it was just, instead of watching almost like 20 hours,
it's 21 movies, man.
Yeah,
to get you to Infinity War. And then Endgame is movie 23, I'm pretty sure.
Something like that, yeah.
It's wild, man. And after...
I watched a few of the movies. I mean, I watched Black Panther. I watched Civil War.
I saw both of those.
I watched Doctor Strange, the first one.
I saw that one, too.
I think I saw Iron Man.
I saw Iron Man way back when. Yeah.
There were a couple that I watched, but then some of them that I couldn't watch without getting paid. Some of them that I couldn't watch without paying for them, and I wasn't really about that. So I just started, looking up the YouTube things of like, okay, let me see if I can find something that just like chronologically gives you a little bit of like a preview up to it. And I saw this one video and it was perfect. It let you up and everything. I think it was like maybe a 20-30 minute video.
Okay.
So that pretty much did it for me. And so that was good.
At some point when I'm bored and like maybe I'll just do the Stranger Things thing, I'll do that. I'm not watching any like shows in sequence like currently.
Nah, I just got done Game of Thrones again, and I want to watch the Dahmer movie.
Cheyenne it's a series.
Yeah. So I want to start that.
She said
I've been hearing good things.
She said the first 3 or 4 episodes were like wild, and then she said like some of the second half of it was very much like, all right, like
more dialogue, probably
and it felt like propaganda to like push certain things.
Yeah.
And she's like, miss me with that kind of stuff. Like, just stick to what the documentary is there for and supposed to be about, and
keep killing people, guy.
Yeah. Nom 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 nom. Keep eating them up, right?
Christ.
Yeah, seriously. Future Halloweens, not the movies, but like, what do you see? Wow. Hello. Is there anything? Are there any costumes that you wanted to dress up as that you haven't done yet? Or is there anything that that you want to do with Little Tone as he gets older?
Definitely do a Batman thing.
Do the Batman Joker thing to pass that on.
I'll definitely do a Batman thing.
I love that. You should.
We'll definitely do a Marvel thing or a DC thing for sure.
It all also depends on like what he gets into, right?
Yeah. Because like I said, he was going to be Buzz Lightyear this year, but then he started watching Lion King. Then he wanted to be Simba. So we're like, thank God we didn't get a Buzz Lightyear costume before he said that.
Yeah.
And shout out to my brother because he used to pull the thing like on Halloween night he would want to change him, and my parents would be like, "You're not getting it," and he would just cry and be like, "Okay, you're just gonna get a sweatshirt," and they would just like how you were saying earlier with like you had a bin of like Halloween things, so we would just go into the bin and like, here, put this sweatshirt on, put this eye patch on, take this and get the whoopsie.
Jeez.
So he would be want to be something up until Halloween, and then he'd be like, I want to change it.
Like, how many times?
It was almost every year.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Come on, son.
Come on, son. And then I'd be like here with my ninja outfit. I'm like, let's go out trick or treating, and they're like I'm not trying to be this. Like, why are you so mad?
Dude, you're getting candy.
Yeah.
Right. I think
this has been a fun episode.
Yeah, I mean, we got sidetracked on a few things. I think the one thing that I thought of that I really wanted to do, it's like pretty original, but will take like a lot of like time to like develop it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Transformers in a way, but I wanted to do something where it, whether it was with someone I was dating or like it has to be a collaborative effort with it more than just me.
Yeah.
But I wanted to build some sort of like I guess robot is an easy way to say it.
Yeah.
But do something where the components on the body could detach and attach to a different person so that like the costumes would morph
together
over time, or like swap arm pieces or swap like just little parts of like
right
like all around that can shift to the other costume.
No, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's just to keep the.
I'm sure if you like could draw it up and you had the right person to get that idea out, I'm sure you can get it. I just don't know who would be able to do that. That would be cool.
We've got an old buddy that I think he could figure it out. It's just a matter of like
and if it's the same guy that we're talking about, I was thinking of like, something that, for me and little guy, like if we had to like, do like some type of Marvel thing and we needed like a legit costume,
he'd be your
I would call him
guy.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Other than that, like it's pretty cool. We had a friend of ours who his birthday's November 3rd, so he had like a birthday Halloween like combined bash kind of thing. And we did the I was Machine Gun Kelly and she was Eminem, but she wasn't like the rapper Eminem. She was like she had like a green
Eminem.
She was an Eminem, yeah. Not like the whole round thing. She just wore like a green shirt with an M on it. Like I think that she found the font and cut out like the fabric and just put it on.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was easy. She asked me, what are we going to be for Halloween? I was like, this was like a month ago. And I said it like, how long ago did I suggest doing these? It was like a month ago, right?
A month ago.
Yeah. It was right before that I was thinking like, what like famous like stories, movies have like a gym in it. And then I could be like Jim, right? So I was like, I had this idea and I said it to her and I didn't want her to take it in the wrong way, but she was able to put a spin on it. That she was like, oh, I think that's a really cute idea. I wanted her and I to be James and the Giant Peach. So I'd be James.
Yeah.
But she was like, then I can like cut out like a peach and then put it on my butt because like Peach is known for being booty. Right. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I just have to look like the character from the movie. You can do whatever Peach spin-off that you want. And I think that she thought of that too, because last year she was M&M, but she wasn't
Yeah.
the rapper M&M. So I
Right.
think that she wanted to kind of continue like the spin.
Yeah, the spin-off.
Which is cool. I
Yeah,
like it. But again, like I said, I was like
good thought process.
Yeah, it's fun. And I think like as time goes on, well, I think the Machine Gun Kelly Eminem feud was pretty fresh last year. The James and the Giant Peach thing is like a super throwback, right? I think it's fun. I like doing those clever ideas because like I've definitely done just like the random thing, like just grab things, put them together.
Yeah.
Like I had like this was way long time ago. I have a picture of it somewhere and you can throw it up here. I had like a flannel shirt. My dad's got this sheepskin vest from like the 70s that we all rag on him about because he still has it in his closet. So I threw that on, the vest on over to flannel. I took like a ball mask, but then I put like I had an afro wig. I wore it in our variety show in the one piece. Yeah. So I put the afro wig on top of the skull, which makes no sense because it's a skull. There's no skin. Right. You got hair follicles and curls coming out of bones. Right. And then I had like the movie Terminator. I had like not the claw hand. Right. But I had it was like you could slide your arm in and it had a gun attached to it. Not a real gun. Like a toy one that made noise. Yeah. So it was just
mechanical hand when I was a kid. Yeah.
I had that like way back when. It's gone by now, but yeah, I just did like those random things, and yeah, I think I was like 19, but it was like a hit because it was just so random and absurd. Yeah.
And those are sometimes the best costumes when you just kind of like, okay, I have this material, and you're like, okay, what can I come out of this? Sometimes they're the best costumes.
Yeah. People are like, what are you supposed to be? And I'm just like, that's like
you figure it out.
To your imagination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it work. Right. Yeah. I think there's two things. One, candy that like I hate. And I still can't think of. They weren't Airheads.
Warheads.
Warheads were like the hard candy, right?
The sour hard candy.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like it came in like it was a real thin, like gummy type of candy. I can't think.
Gushers?
No, I love Gushers.
I like them too.
I haven't had them.
That's a chewy, like I can because it had like I guess like the Gusher in it, so it wasn't really that chewy. You unwrap
this thing and you bite into it, and then you have to like yank it to peel it off of the other thing. I swear I can't think of it.
Yeah, I can't think of it either. But it's something probably I wouldn't like either.
I'll find it after, and you can always be like, "This was what we were talking about."
Yeah,
real quick, right there for you. Yeah, there really wasn't much that I'd get like Halloween candy wise that I'm like, miss me, I can't. You know what I was thinking of earlier that I really loved as a kid? Fun Dip.
Yeah.
Dude, you would just get those little candy sticks and you'd like lick them to get them moist. And then you'd have your different flavored sugar, and they were literally just food colored sugar.
Pretty much, yeah, just sugar on a stick.
Yeah, sugar. I would sugar. I like certain lollipops that I'd get like trick or treating.
Yeah,
I think I didn't care for like the Tootsie Pops really because
I like them.
I mean I had them, but again. Like they'd stay in my bag until close to the end.
Yeah, they weren't my first choice. They would definitely be like, okay, bottom of the barrel. Like, okay, I guess I'll just have it.
I thought it was such an awkward concept to have like a sweet, sugary, like cherry, blueberry, green apple taste, and then you get to the center of the Tootsie Pop and you're having like fudge chocolate or whatever.
Yeah, or like it was like a thing of like gum.
Yeah.
You get those like
the one that had the gum on the inside. Yeah.
Those I mean they were okay, but I'm like, okay, I'd rather have like the ones that had like the fudge or something.
Yeah. I just thought it was weird going from like the sweet, like fruity, juicy flavor.
Yeah.
Like, and then once you get through all of that, you have like a chocolate thing. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense to me. Tootsie Rolls would stay, like the smaller ones would stay in the bag towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
They have these like sugar flavored like candy versions. I think they're called Fruities. Like they're like Fruitsy Rolls. You know who had them? Planet Fitness. That time I used to go to the gym, they used to have them on the front desk that you could just like grab one on your way out.
Almost like a Jolly Rancher in a way.
No, but I do love Jolly Ranchers.
I did like those.
I haven't had one of those in ages.
He picked up a couple at the zoo yesterday.
Yeah.
And Jen is like a Sour Patch person.
Okay.
And she saw Sour Patch and she's like, "Here, get this one, like so I can have it later." Like,
dude, watermelon Sour Patch. Ugh.
Yeah, they're good.
So good. So good. Dang, dude. Do we?
I think we're doing good on time.
Yeah, we're doing good on time. Oh, I got to talk about that one story.
How about that'll be our last little thing. We got to do that before we get out of here.
Yeah.
So I know you told me about it once, but it's probably been a while. So let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It was the Halloween after we graduated high school. So we're going back to October 2005, which was 17 years ago. Okay. Like a half a lifetime behind us at this point. Right. So it was Halloween. And it was our first Halloween after moving because we moved the previous November.
Right.
After the Halloween of our senior year, I was still in my old house.
Right.
We moved to the new one. Like basically we had Thanksgiving dinner at the new house and we were still getting things from the old house, but we were more than 50% moved into that place.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, so my younger sister is probably 10 years old at the time. And I think my dad took her into the old neighborhood because we moved from this neighborhood right over here. You left this development and you went right here into this street and you're where we were. But anyway, like I said, there was no trick-or-treating to be had in the new neighborhood because it was like 5 houses total. Right. And barely any kids. Like if there were kids in there were some high school kids. They went to their friends' neighborhoods that was elsewhere. Right. So I just was like, I gotta do something like Halloween fun. Cause like didn't have any friends that were having parties like going on per se.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Like, which is weird because like we were both in college. Ooh, squeamy. Like we were both in college, so like, did you ever do like a college party at Newman for Halloween? I feel like
no.
I feel like the dorms weren't like cut out for that.
No,
I don't think
it was a very dry campus.
Right.
They didn't really. I mean, there was people that brought stuff in, or they tried to sneak stuff in, but yeah, there wasn't really any part. The parties, from what Jen used to tell me, they were usually at like the softball house, which was like right off campus. They had like, because she used to go to more parties than I did, like off campus and stuff, because she used to tell me like where they were and stuff. I never went to one with her, but actually in like the campus dorms, like there wasn't really much.
Right. Yeah, I think most of the kids that like maybe live there and like could, like if they had a fake or whatever, they went to Barnaby's because it was like, I mean, back in 2005, that place was slamming,
jumping. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm standing there, I'm like, I gotta do something fun. I'd become like pretty cool with my neighbors. The one graduated a year after us. The other one graduated a couple years before us. And was also a dancer. So like we, had that common interest or whatnot. Yeah. So I like peek next door to see like if I can see who's home. I totally like crept through not crept through, like I was like trying to be like a creepy.
You weren't trying to break and
I wasn't trying to be creepy, but I was definitely being creepy, right? So I noticed the mom, who like was a sweetheart and like real cool with me and everything. So I go and I notice that their front door is just standing wide open. So a little backstory, and I'll keep it super quick. I was 13 and I did this like gymnastics dance, and I had to wear a unitard, which was from the ankles all the way up, and it had a hood.
Oh wow!
And it's somewhere in my house, but like I used to put it on like when I got older just to be funny and creep people out, like in my house though.
Yeah.
and just like being a goof or whatever. So anyway, I threw this unitard on, and I got this skull mask to cover my face. And it was just a face covering mask. It wasn't like the one that wraps all the way around the head.
Yeah.
Pretty creepy, like alien skull looking type thing. And the eyes were like real glossy looking.
Right.
So the neighbor's house is like pretty much laid out exactly like my parents, but it's like, you know how you walk in and like the front living is right here.
Yeah.
Well, theirs is like flipped. It's on the opposite.
Yeah, everything's flipped. Yeah,
sure. So I go up the front steps, I creep in the door, and then I go in through like the living room and into the dining room. And then I peek around. The mom's on the phone, casually chatting, but she's like, I know that her husband's not home. made sure of it. Yeah. He would have probably shot me. I like crawled across the floor. I hopped up on the counter next to the sink and I perched myself there. And she's on the phone. Solid like 15 seconds.
Oblivious to what you're doing.
Well, yeah. Doesn't even know anyone came in the front door. Nothing. Because like the inside door was wide open. So I just had to get through like the screen door.
The screen door, yeah.
Good 15, 20 seconds goes by and I'm just pursed like a gargoyle waiting for her to notice me. Suddenly she, turns. She starts screaming. And I'm just sitting there letting her scream, not even moving. She's like, who the whoopsie that? Who the whoopsie? Like she's on the phone screaming. I held it for like a good 10, 15 seconds.
Awesome.
Like complete statue, right? And then like I didn't want her going into like super hysteria.
Yeah.
So I hopped down and ran out the front door and I ran back in. I changed, right? Because then her son and daughter come home with 25 or 30 of their friends because the mom called and said, someone snuck in the house.
Oh, man.
The son had like a baseball bat and his friends were coming up to me like, was it you? I was like, look at me. I'm just like, not like this. Right?
Yeah. Like this.
Like this. No, but like I let it go. Like they were trying to figure it out who would have done it. And a couple friends were like, the one friend was like really egging me on. He's like, was it really you? I won't tell. And like, I let it go for like 20 minutes and finally I caved. I was like, yeah, all right, it was me. And then he blew my cover and turned and said to everyone, and it was like, guys, it's fine. It was just Jim. Like, and like, they laughed about it. Yeah. But I think that they were like legitimately like someone snuck in a house.
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, like, are they going to just start not leaving the front door like wide open?
Right.
They still do. I'm like, you're just welcoming the sequel, right?
Some people never learn.
Right. Nah, I mean, it's one of those things.
That's a good story.
It's one of those things where like I did it once and I'll never have to do it again because it was that level of fun.
Everything kind of like played out perfectly.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It was like a relatively harmless prank.
Yeah.
Like she was screaming, but she was like, like kind of smiling because she figured it was probably like one of her kids' friends just pranking her.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was, because like what rando stranger would go into someone's house and do that and just leave?
Scatter.
Yeah. Scatter. Yeah. Yeah, that's it's probably one of my favorite Halloween stories because one, it was just a solid, like pretty harmless prank. And two, it was like, it's not a trick or treat story. It's not like a costume contest story. Ooh,
right.
Last thing,
right.
and we'll keep it quick. Okay. Yeah. Favorite costume that you've seen out? I'll go first because I'll let you think of it, because I went to this costume party at this place called Kildare's in Westchester. And you know Kildare's, right? It was pretty fun. I happened to be single and just went with like a couple of friends that I knew. Not that really holds weight, but it wasn't like I'm like my girlfriend. That wasn't a thing. So went, and I wasn't dressed like to try to win the contest. I was just there to have. I couldn't even tell you what I wanted. I think I just randomly threw things together, and I was like, boom, I'm good. The dude that won the contest, and we're gonna find a picture of this so you can throw it up. Skittles pox.
Nice.
Yeah, literally had Skittles glued all over his face and arms, and everyone, like, once the MC announced, and in first place, Skittles pox, like the whole place just erupted because they were like, it's a shoe-in win. Like, it is so good because, like, who thinks to do that, right? Obviously that guy, but that's the only time I've ever seen anyone do Skittles pox. And
that's nice.
He had hair similar to the guy in the commercial. So it was like he mildly looked like him. It wasn't like if I did it, like, because I didn't look like that guy. He actually looked kind of like the guy. So I wonder if someone said, you kind of look like the guy from the Skittles box commercial. And he's like, boom, that's what I'm being for Halloween. It was a hit, man. You got anything in mind?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've been in the presence of like something that was like as like, oh my God, that's like the best costume I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. Like in elementary school, I'll tell you off air who it was, but he came in. I'm trying to remember exactly how, like which way he was oriented, because I'm pretty sure it was him walking around, but he had like a zombie on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Like that. Or I don't know if it was like stilts, but I think he was the one on top of the shoulders somehow. I don't remember how it was done, but everyone was like, whoa. Like it was pretty cool.
Right.
I can't think of anything like notably off the top of my head where I was like, you just won Halloween. Like I can't.
Right.
Can't think of it.
I think there was probably one, but again, I can't remember. I know I've been. Oh, you know what? Okay,
got one.
Yeah, now I got one. Barnaby's one year, I was dressed as James Hetfield.
Okay,
and then this dude came in dressed like Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Nice.
Oh my God, the dude had everything down to the T.
I remember seeing that guy. Yeah, he was to the nines.
I think he won the costume contest that night too. Like he had the guitar, he had the whole, costume get up and everything. It was perfect. I've never seen anybody, dress up as him before. So I'm like, and he had the tongue down and everything.
Yeah,
I'm like, perfect.
It was wild.
A+.
Was that the year I was Jon Snow? Were you there with me?
I think we were all. Yeah,
that was. I want to 2017,
probably.
I think, because I'm just thinking
it was more recently.
My hair was to here.
Yeah,
and my hair was to here, and I think I shaved it off in the spring of 18.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that one, that was. That was a cool costume.
Yeah.
So that kind of just came out. Yeah, that was probably the coolest costume I've seen.
That was pretty solid.
Yeah. You want to wrap it up here?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another episode of One Set.
That's it.
Uh,
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, guys.
If you have any costumes that you've seen out and about that is like top all time or top 3, you can find the link above, right? Is it going to be above when we do this one?
Above, below, description.
Everywhere.
You
can find it. One Set Pod all over the place. Cheers, brother.
Love you, bud.
Love you too.
Have a good night, Lloyd.
Thanks, Harry. You too.